I, I, I thank you, Tiffany. I'm actually on the road and I'll be pulling over here shortly to my destination. But go into introducing, many of you on this call know who George is, but many of you may not know who George really is from what his accomplishments are. He's a good friend of mine. Him and I pretty much basically started in the business together in 2000. I was in 99. We were at Coldwell Banker together. So what George has accomplished in his career in real estate has been absolutely mind-blowing. He was the top agent worldwide 2009 and 2010 with Keller Williams. His best year, he sold just under 1,000 homes, 997 homes. And in 2008, he built an expansion team into 3 different markets with a central hub. So what you guys don't really know about George is the huge success that he's had in the real estate industry as a listing agent, as running a team, as being an owner of real estate offices, and not just running a team, but running an expansion team in 3 different areas and running it at a very, very high level. So he's sharing his listing presentation today. So those of you who are the guests that are here today, I highly encourage you really, really dig in and pay attention to this. And I just want to welcome George to the call. And George, I appreciate everything you do for us and our growth. And take it away.
Outstanding. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that.
I was going to say, is George even there? No.
Yeah. I'm actually here. Back after a little bit of a hiatus. So good to see everybody. Let's kick the crap out of this. So what we're covering today is a 15-minute listing presentation. Now, there's a main document. Pardon me, Joe. Do me a favor, buddy. There's a document there. It says a 15-minute listing presentation. That document has a ton of links in there. Those links will get you the documents that you're going to want, supporting things that you're going to need as well. What we're trying to do is give you an all-encompassing, from start to finish, really short listing presentation. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And there's some add-ons that are in here as well. I want you guys to take this with you. The pre-listing package is included today as well as our offer sheet that we use on every property all the time. A list of buyer and seller side packages that you need to have if you don't already have them built up and pre-made. Ours are pre-filled in with most of the other stuff. I'm putting in price for a listing. I put in a price, I put in the expiration date when it goes on, and it's done. Because and the address and because the title company information is in there too. Do you have your packages ready to go? Are you fully functional in your listing? We're going to show you how to do it today, hopefully at a higher level than you've seen before, and also with some tools. So the very first thing, first off, y'all ready to get started? Can we go? Thumbs up, everybody. If more faces I see, the better. I see actually my entire screen. This is awesome. Hold on. Everybody give me a thumbs up. This is great. Awesome. Thank you very much. I haven't had, I usually have like 49 people on my screen, but every single person that I'm looking at right now is a live face. Hi, everybody. Good to see you guys. I missed y'all. Let's have some fun with this. So what we're going to cover right now, we're going to go into the lead sheet. So I'm going to share my screen and I want to walk through the entire process or the entire lead sheet. I'm going to stop when I get to the second page. I want to challenge you guys to consider that you should have this with you at most of the time. Well, I have them with me all the time. I just don't have them near me. But I carry them in my briefcase. I carry it there at my house. They're everywhere I go. Because if I'm taking a seller lead, I want to have the right information. If a lead comes in, it's either somebody that's calling me, that's somebody, a referral from mine, or it's somebody where I've got a lead that's come into me some way, shape, or form, and I'm going to have to do some work with that lead to make sure that we're on the same page. So let me make this big for everybody. Not going to work. Hold on 1 second. I thought you were prepared, Philbeck. Oh, I am. Right on. I'm working in a mocked configuration at this point. So if it seems a little bit wonky, that's because it is to me as well. There we go. So this is the lead sheet. And this is available in that link. You guys have this. It's in an Excel document. You can bring it into Google Sheets if you want it, or to Numbers. It doesn't matter. And then you can edit it yourself. This is a 2-page sheet, and everything that I'm doing with a listing starts right here. You'll see a big L and a big Q. Listen and questions. Okay. Most important thing we can do, ask a lot of questions and listen intently what they're doing. Put the appointment information. This is just what I use. Sometimes there's follow-up involved. If I'm not able to get with them right away, I want to make sure that I've got my follow-up on the same page. What's going on? This is where I'm taking notes when I'm asking them. They call up and they say, well, I'm interested in selling my home. I'm always going to say this. Hey, what's going on? How can we best help you? Well, I want to sell my home. I'm moving to Tennessee. I have to be there by July 30th because I've got a new job. Our house is a mess. I would be writing all of that information down right here, taking as much scribbled notes as I possibly can. I want to make sure that I am absolutely actively listening when they're talking and asking questions. Terrific. So we'll get to the questions. This is what I like to say. You can make this your own. When it comes to your home, I have two goals: to provide you with useful information and answer all your questions. Will that be okay with you? The reason I say it that way, as opposed to tell you what the numbers are, is I wanted to be a little softer in my approach. That's just personal. I'm going to close them when we're at the house. I promise you I will. But what I want to do is make sure that we are on the same page. So I'm going to ask them that. A few questions to prepare for our meeting. Folks, ask them these questions. And here's what you want to know: beds, baths, square foot, pool. What was the age of the roof, the AC, and how many garages do you have? Tell me about any improvements on your home. We're going to cover more about the improvements down the road. They're going to start spitting things out to you right here. Okay. We're going to be sending them a pre-listing package when we set the appointment. And in there is a list of improvements on their home. I would suggest if they give you improvements, fill some of them in, put them in the listing package, which should already be made up. You'll get a package of the pre-listing package too. The reason we ask these questions is sometimes the tax records are wrong, and we do not want wrong answers on here. I've gone to a listing presentation. You guys get this one head on. I went to a listing presentation on a 1,500 square foot home where they added on to the house dramatically. It was 2,400 square feet. I did not get the listing because I didn't ask a simple question of how big is your home? Tax records are sometimes wrong. Okay. Very, very important that you go through and you ask these questions. I have found them to be saving me a lot of embarrassment if I do so, and I'm better prepared. All right, any improvements? If you want to say that, can you grade your home on a curb appeal? How do you think it measures to the community? It's up to you. Truthfully, I don't say these anymore. I don't do it. I do this one. If you could wave a wand, when would you like to have the home closed and you moving out? And they'll tell you, so, well, I've got to be out by, let's say, July 15th in our conversation. Okay, great. Definitely write that down. Now, we're going to do a lot of research, and I'll bring a lot of data and information, and I'm going to have to come up with my own position of where I think the home will appraise for. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think your home is worth? Get the answer from them, folks. This is important. So just take a guess. I promise you, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to borrow your ideas if that's what they say, or steal your numbers. I'm going to support it with 3 homes that an appraiser will almost assuredly have to use to determine the appraised value of your property. That's not the sale value of your home, but I wanted to know. Let's say I come up with, after I've done my research, because I haven't done it yet, so I don't have a clue at this point. I haven't gotten that far into it. But if I'm going to do this, and now they say 375, and I find that the appraisal is going to be somewhere around 350. I'm going to take that listing, and we're pretty much on the same page because this market is so incredibly volatile. I'm looking at appraised value, not what people are going to contribute over and above appraised value. I hope that resonates. So this is an important question, and most people will shy away from it. It's not a comfortable one. Practice it. Practice it with your spouse, with your partner, with your best friend. It doesn't matter. Listen, I'm going to do my own research, but I'm interested in knowing what you think your home's value is. Nobody's probably more informed of your home right now than you are. However you want to get out of it, well, that's your job. Absolutely. I'm going to bring support of what I think it will appraise for. Now, that's not what it's going to sell for, but that's what an appraiser will pay for, will say it is valued at. I'm curious, what do you think it's worth? If they don't tell you, so that's terrific. But remember, you're dealing with a hard person. Chances are, by the way, I'm going to stop this for a second. Chances are, if they won't tell you, they're either a high D, which moves very, very quickly, and wants just, it's your job, you give me the answer. If they're moving fast and they're short in their conversation, they're probably a high D. Somebody's not muted. Joe, take care of it, whoever's mic's on. Or you're dealing with a high C, and a high C is an analytic. Okay, and now in both of those, they're going to want facts and details if they give you pushback. So your data that you're going to pull up for your listing or for your comps is going to be mission critical on that one. Let's go back to this now. All right, so this is the information I needed. I've set my appointment. I'm ready to go. The second part of it, This is all information we're going to cover in the 15-minute listing presentation. So I'm going to stop with that for just a couple seconds. Go back to what I was working on before. Oh, no, George, you're a moron. Bear with me, folks. I just closed it down. Okay, so that's the lead sheet. That's getting to where you've got the appointment at this point. The next thing is you're going to need to send out the pre-listing package. Now, in this page or this document that's being circulated back and forth, you're going to see a hyperlink here that says pre-listing package. If you click on that hyperlink, it's going to open up a Word document. This is the entire pre-listing package that I use. Please edit it so that it's proper for you. It is very appealing. I put it in a 1/4-inch binder. There's a cover on the front, there's a cover on the back, and this is all in here. You can literally work this document. It's a Word document, print it out. I know I'm going quickly, but it's for yours. It even covers some of our listings and what we do and how we go about doing it. You're going to have to make it your own, of course. And I think at the very end of it, yep. Lockboxes, how they're being used. We put that in there. Some frequently asked questions that they have as well is in there. And this is how to prepare for a showing. I print this one, I put it on the back of the package. So this is always available for them right away. Okay, here's your home improvement list. We spoke of what are your home improvements. This is part of it. When they're listing off home improvements, I'm going to put the line. Can you all see this? Thumbs up, yes? Any thumbs up? Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. I'm going to start putting in when they did it. Like if they said, well, we had a new AC in 2020, I'm going to put right here, new AC 2000 and then 2020. If they said we repainted a couple years ago, I'm going to go repainted interior because I have the notes already. This shows I'm paying attention. And this will go right on the inside pocket. As I open up my folder, it's the very first thing on the left-hand pocket. When it opens, it'll be right here. And that's the home improvements. Now, I'm going to let them know, and with a little sticky note, please tell me any home improvements you've done on the property. So this listing package, when they open it up, there's a little sticky note right on top of this document, which is on the left-hand folder. As this binder opens up, left-hand folder with a sticky note. The sticky note I hand wrote, Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, Susan, whatever you're doing, please put down any and all home improvements. I'll need this when negotiating with the appraiser. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas, please put down any and all home improvements. Since you've owned the home, I'll need this when I negotiate against the appraiser. This is important because what they're going to do is that's the first thing they'll get it. They'll open it up. By the way, I deliver all of mine in this. It's a pre-listing mail, a priority mail. I can get it for absolutely free by going to the post office. It holds a binder perfectly. The binder is shaped this way. I don't know if you can see it, but it's shaped like lengthwise, and then it folds over. Whether I send it priority mail, which will get there if I send it out in a local area, and this is across the United States, it will get there in the next 24 hours. If my appointment is not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, I'll absolutely send it by priority mail. Or I can drop it off and take a photo of the front of the house. We'll cover that in just a moment or two. I wanted you to see what that looked like. There we go. I make sure this gets delivered. Now, if you are interested, see if I can make this bigger for everybody. I'm sure that's way too small. There we go. That's better. If you are interested in doing some custom website work for them, or you want to make a custom website, and that is a heck of a thing to do when you're marketing the home. You can just pull it up. So here's a website I've already created for you. By all means, feel free clicking on it, whatever you want, because the lead's going to go right back to your phone at the table. If you decide to go to the house, drop it off yourself, take a photo of it, listings to leads. This is an incredibly powerful software that costs $40 a month for up to 10 listings. You can turn it on and turn it off. That means if you'd like to use it, that's great. But I will tell you, and fair warning on this, it does take some research. Joe, Tiff, if you guys would focus on this in the chat box for just a couple minutes, please do me a favor. If anybody wants a class on listings to leads, I think it's incredibly powerful. My vote is yes for this. But if we get a fair amount of people that say they're interested in that class, I'm going to see if I can get Shannon Pyatt, who's an expert on there, to teach it. I will tell you, he is a huge fan of the listing landing pages that are on this. It is a powerful site, but it does take a fair amount of work to learn it and really understand it. There's so much in there. It's very robust. It is an add-on. Okay, there's for some of us, a lot of us have a CRM where we can boost our listings that way, and we create things, and that's just what happens with since there's a majority of us with one brokerage, that's what happens with it, where you get 10 things right away that you can use to market. I find listings to leads to be incredibly powerful. I'd love you to take a look at it. The link on here is the front page. It'll kind of describe it for you. I make absolutely $0 on this. I literally just pulled it off the web to make it easy for you. I use it. I turn it on when I have a listing I really want to market, and I'll turn it off at the end of the month.
Because so many people are interested in seeing yes. They're practically screaming.
Okay,
yes.
We're good. You're good. You're good. I'll get Shannon on here. I think he's out of the hospital. I hope he's out of the hospital.
George.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I use listings to leads, and it's amazing. You can actually integrate it with KV Core. So anything that comes in through the website will automatically populate on that the CRM. And it's an amazing, tool. Yeah.
Well, you want me to head up to Rhode Island, I'll be glad to do so. So I'm just going to call you in to support Shannon on the call then, since you already do that. And you're like, you're blood brothers with us. But it's really, really good tool. I'm not an advocate of spending the money frivolously. Guys, we're all in business to reach our goals, and usually they have a number attached to them. I want you to be conservative. However, this is a really, really kick butt website. Is that fair? Do you agree with that, Joe? It's powerful stuff, right?
100%.
Right on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that greatly. So the listings to leads is what I would do with the photo if I take the photo, and I'm going to use that as part of my marketing. Listings to leads also has a marketing platform, for lack of a better word, where it literally goes through this checklist. And there's something I like very much about it. I want you guys to just keep this in the back of your head. Listings to leads has something where this is what we do this week. There's a lot of stuff happening, and then next week and the week after and the week after. When the market changes, and eventually it will across the country, the market is going to shift a little bit, and we'll get to the point where we're not carrying listings for 3 days and going after 4 days. If we don't have multiples, what did we do wrong? But we're carrying listings for 3 months, 6 months. And if we're not continually doing something to keep in front of our clients, let them know that we're continually pushing the marketing, it's a phenomenal tool. It really is. And honestly, for just generating business and using social media, stuff like that, look into it, do a demo with it if you want to. We'll have it, hopefully next week, we'll have it showcased for you. I think it's worth the money because of the landing pages alone. And Shannon, I know we'll talk more about that. That's my pitch on listings to leads right now. So I'm going to leave that alone. So now we're at the home. So I'm touring the property. I always do this. You guys do the same thing. Knock on the door. If you're a young lady, you're welcome to stay at the door. For gentlemen, every one of you back up around 5 or 6 feet, turn around, look at the yard, and when they open the door, turn around with a good amount of distance between you and them, and introduce yourself and make sure you're on time. Don't be late for your appointments, period. Be early, know the neighborhood, drive through it. This is anywhere from a $10,000 to a $20,000 opportunity in front of you. Don't show up in a hurry and haggard. And by all means, and this is really important for all of you new listing agents out there, all you agents that are going to be jumping into the listing market, I can't wait for you to do it. You're going to need to practice what we're talking about right now, or you're going to do what I did. Now, some of you heard this. I'm going to give it to you all real quickly. I had this listing. I used to work only for sale by owners. That was it. I was exclusive to it. And I made a commitment that I would always stop at it for sale by owner. This is the warning for all of you on practice, practice, practice. So I'm driving down the road, down this cul-de-sac, there's a for sale by owner sign. I'm like, oh, crud. I've got my 3-year-old in the back of the car, 4-year-old. So I go over and I talk to him real quick. My son gets out. We hang out for like an hour. I tour the property, everything, phenomenal rapport. And I said, would you mind if I came back tomorrow and show you what we do to cause homes to sell? What we do. We. It's never just me anymore. It's we. There's a team. You all have that. Every one of you, we. Right? I'm your partner. Get that. What we do to show homes. The guys say, yeah, that'd be great. We're planning on listing it next week anyway. So, I mean, this is it. They're ready to list. They plan on listing. I've got great rapport. I'm ready to go. I show up the next day. Now I'm not wearing a golf shirt and khakis. Now I'm wearing slacks and a dress shirt and a tie on. And I got it really, really tight. So I got a fat neck. So it's like choking me while I'm in there. When I walk in, I don't have to tour the property. I've already seen it. Are you kidding? I know the place. I almost had dinner with him. Husband sits on one side, wife sits on another. Never, ever, ever have them sit on opposite sides. Move them around the table, move yourself. They gave me the head. Say, no, why don't you sit here so I can present to both of you? That's something we're going to cover as well. We go into this presentation. It was the first time I've really done it where it was live and I practiced it. I immediately started flop sweating. I mean, like bad sweat, like sweat on my chest and sweat through my shirt. It was just nasty. Halfway through, the wife gets up, gives me a glass of water and a paper towel. The husband leans over and goes, "It's okay. You're doing great." I did not get the listing. Who would list from a guy with flop sweats who is stumbling and has cotton mouth so bad because I was so out of practice? I did not get the listing. By the way, I did check it. It sold for, I don't remember what it was a while ago, but it sold quickly too. And that was mine. And I lost it because I didn't practice. My ex-wife, God bless her, she literally had to endure my listing presentation 4 days a week, every day, every week for about a year. I was really good at it. And I challenge you to do this because you're going to be uncomfortable and practice will make the difference. Practice will make the difference. So I show up at the house. I'm going to tour the property. What I'm going to use to tour the property, find it, is this checklist again. Now remember, we just did all this stuff right here. I'm going to go down to this section. I'm going to put in all my notes here. I'm flipping to the second part of this. And I'm going to start writing down when I'm touring the property. Now I asked them, may I please take some notes while I do this? I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And they're going to talk about more upgrades, things like that. I'm going to ask you to do so. So I'm putting my notes in here. As we go through it, I'm going to say, oh, a question for you. Is the fridge, the range, the dishwasher, the oven, the disposal, are they included in the sale, the wine cooler, whatever you happen to have? But start getting comfortable with the idea that we need to know what is included and excluded. What about your drapes? I think they're in there. The blinds are in there. Window treatments are in there. So you need to go through this. And this is pretty much all encompassing. We're still on the same page. We're going to come up to here in just a couple minutes. But right now, we're touring the home. I discuss the upgrades and refer back to the pre-listing and referring back to the pre-listing package. Now, the pre-listing package, remember when we opened that up? And in that pre-listing package, at the very end was a list of upgrades, which was on the front of the pre-listing package. This is a great opportunity to ask them, hey, you received the package I sent over ahead of time to kind of go into some depth. Did you have a chance to review it? Well, we didn't really look at it that much. Okay, that's not a problem. Really, the most important part is in there is a list of upgrades. I'm going to be using that to negotiate against the appraiser. It's always said the same way. So I'm going to negotiate against the appraiser. This is a sidebar. You can use it whenever you want to. When I sell a home, I have to sell it 3 times. I sell it to the buyer, I sell it to the appraiser, and I sell it to the desk underwriter. I've got to make sure all 3 parties, if it's financed, purchase this property and agree on this purchase. So while we get it under contract, that's just where we start. That's actually the beginning. In fact, we do some work before the contract for sure. Do you understand that? We have to sell it 3 times. That's why I bring this up. So I'm touring this property and I'm taking notes. When we sit back down, sit them down where you can present to both of them and present to both of them together. If one's in the other room, so let's wait. Ask them when you're sitting down, do you happen to have that pre-listing or do you happen to have that package I sent over to you? So there's some documents in that we want to work with. I pull out at this point the improvement list. Now I pull that out on purpose. I want to have that because I may transfer some things over. And I said, I want to make sure I have everything because I am going to use this to make sure we get the maximum price on the property. I wrote down on here, when you go through the syllabus, you'll see this and it says, we, it's never I. The power behind that is every one of us is a we. We have partners. I don't care what brokerage you're with, but think about this. The relationship is always with a broker. The broker is in relationship with whoever the client is, buyer or seller side. We are minions of the broker. Decidedly, we're a little bit different where a lot of us are. And I like that because we get to build our own business and make it really robust in our own. But we're still a we. We're still bound by that. So it's absolutely appropriate for you to say we. Anybody want to use me and Jackie as your partners? Do it. We want you to. We already are. Okay, Jackie's like 5'2", brilliant, and one of the best, if not the best negotiator I've ever seen. So I'll tell you a negotiating story because stories help and you may use this. If I'm sitting down, little sidebar, if I'm sitting down and I'm having a listing presentation going on, I'm working with somebody on this one, and it's going real well, but I want to add a story to it. I'll add a story like this, particularly if Jackie's not here, because I'm always using we, it's team. I said, I got to tell you about Jackie. She is just amazing. She's kind of our lead negotiator. Everything goes through her. We had a property we put on the market. This is a couple of years ago. And we put it on for $399. We thought that was a little high. It should have been $385. It was the right price. Somebody made an offer at $325. Jackie calls them up and says to him, said, "Are you sure you want me to present that?" The owner of the house is a little curmudgeony. I'm pretty sure that will insult her. I'll be glad to present it on your behalf, but it's going to insult her, and she won't even consider any other offer. She'll literally just move you off the table. That's my personal opinion. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf. Y'all hear that? I did not speak on behalf of my client. I said, if you want me, this is Jackie saying this, but she's talking to them. She said, I'll be glad to present it. But they're like, give us a little bit of time. They came back at full price. We've been 2 weeks on the market. It didn't appraise. It appraised for 385 where we said it would, but we got them up instantly on great negotiating. And that's it. It's all about leveraging emotions and using them to your advantage. We are experts in negotiating. If you're not, pick somebody who's your partner. This is who always reviews everything. Feel free to use me. It doesn't matter. We're in this together. Okay. You're a we. You don't go. You're the tip of the ice or the tip of the spear. You are, get it, Rangers? There we go. Airborne Ranger. So I'm talking about, we are the tip of the spear. We go in together as a team behind you, but you're the one doing the conversations. Please, please, please. If you're not very comfortable with your environment, with your personal statistics, I want you to use we. All right. There are two things we do and we do very well. We do negotiating and we do marketing. The marketing brings people into the home and the negotiating gets you the absolute top dollar. Now, in the current market, during the presentation, one of the things, and I always like to talk about this, one of the things we're going to do is anytime we get offers on your property, we are going to vet out the buyer. What I will not allow to happen is you have a surprise. When we say this is a good purchase and it's a good buyer, that means we've checked their we've checked their work history, we've checked their ability to exceed asking price. I'm putting in bugs in here that are fun. We've checked everything about them. We've vetted out their lenders. Their lenders tell us everything. Here's what you say to a lender: help me help your client win. Help me help your client win. Now, I'm in Florida, so I can tell you that in Florida, and I believe it's on the second page when it comes under financing, that the buyer must, or the buyer should disclose, and all parties should disclose. Let's see if I can find that. There's an important document in here, and you can use this for them. I've got to find it for you because it really is important. On the as-is purchase contract in the state of Florida, most contracts are written the same across all states. So I would challenge you to take a look at this. Hold on. Somewhere in here, I don't remember exactly where it is because I haven't looked at it, and Jackie does a lot of negotiating. Somewhere in here into the financing section, it says very, very clearly that a buyer and everybody in the party should work towards full disclosure and helping each other out. I show that to the buyer side, the agents, the mortgage lenders. If they've got an issue, I quote that for them, or Jackie does. But the bottom line is, so listen, I know what the rules are. I'm simply asking you to help me help your client win. Because currently, without their information, I have information on everybody else, and I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I don't with your clients. And unless you're willing to help me, I can't stand behind that. And I've got to tell this to the seller that we don't have any information on them. Bottom line is, if the lender won't give them information, the lender probably hasn't pulled their credit yet, probably hasn't done anything, is probably throwing it on. And this is just my personal opinion. Be weary of lenders from different parts of the country or the state, particularly Miami. I found out the hard way. Now, that is not a disparage. Who are we kidding? I just threw Miami under the bus. Sorry about that. But the bottom line is, make sure you've got a good feel on this too. This lender becomes our business partner very clearly. Now, when we're listing the property, I'll go through the listing presentation because we're getting to it, guys. This is prep. We're in the house. We're sitting down. Now we're having our conversation. We already know what their number is. And if we don't, we're going to ask them again. I've got to know, what do you think your number is for the house? What do you think the value is? Now, remember, you've got already your comparables pulled up. I print them up, the 3 pages, and on my computer, I have the search criteria already set up. I'm not going to go into that part of it in detail, but real quickly, I'll do the map search or whatever kind of search criteria I have chosen for that. And then I'll show them, these are all the homes that the appraiser can use. And these are the 3 I'm pretty sure they're going to use. They're usually in the same neighborhood. They're usually very, very similar in size, plus or minus 15% at the most. 20 is pushing it. And if it's not a pool home, I'm looking for not a pool home. What's the number 1 best home they're going to use? The most recent sale closest to the property, similar to the property. Okay, if that sold for $375 and they're saying they want $400, and that sold 2 months ago, and everything else was $350 and $365. assuming similar homes, remember we talked about that. And now it's old, what did I say, 3 months ago, January, for 375, and they come up with a number of 400. I'm like, this is a layup. The numbers work. Of course, I'm going to put it on the market at that. I'd probably say 399. Let's make sure we're under it. Your call on how to handle the minutia of that, we can cover that at a later conversation, but you've got to get that number in. This is the conversation to have at the table. So where were you thinking the price would be? Well, isn't that your job to tell me? I've actually already written mine down. I can't change it. I have the paperwork right here. There's nothing I could do to change it. I just want to see if we match. Now I know 375 is my number. I can fudge that a bit. I said 375 to 400. That's called a search bracket, a major or minor search bracket. That's okay in this market. It's not okay in a declining market. You got to hit it right on. I can support 375 as the appraised value. And I'll tell them, I said, I think the appraised value is 375, but I'm with you. I believe we can make it up to 400 because there's so much demand. I'll get you over asking in the highest quality offers. I believe 400 is what we're going to sell it at, or really, really close to that. And truthfully, that's a fair number for me. Does that make sense to y'all? If it's 375 last appraisal a couple months ago for the nearest home, the one I have to use, 400 is absolutely in reach in this market. However, perhaps we don't price it at 400. Perhaps we price it at 375 and have 17 offers exceed the asking price with massive motivation. Because we could also price it 425 and get one offer and have zero leverage. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, as I told you, this is all about negotiating. And I'm going to ask you to help me put us in the strongest position. The reason this comes off pretty quickly is I practice this. I go on listing appointments and I don't like losing $15,000. And I like to make sure I'm prepared. So we're back in this listing presentation. We're having a conversation. We figure out what their price is. Now, you can say to them, we can discuss marketing if you choose to. And if that's the case and you want to do that, that's terrific. Got to find it again. So back to my buyer side or my pre-listing package, why wouldn't you include most of your marketing in there? It's already in there. You just have to tweak it and make it your own. You can now open that up and say, I wanted you to go through some of the marketing. If you're using listings to leads, they have literally a checklist, and you can say, this is all that's going to happen. It's really pretty cool for listings. It really is. For $40 to market a listing properly, because that's what it costs you for 1 month to get it out there, I'm absolutely impressed with it. It is well spent money. If you're going to use it for lead generation too, you might want to consider that. Again, sidebar on there. So I'm going to go back to my pre-listing package, use that for this. Now, here's something cool. Hopefully this will help. Oh, no, I don't have it. All right, bear with me 1 second. One second. I'm putting together right now my listing. This is my personal listing presentation, what Jackie and I use. And I'm sorry to do this because I didn't put it in there, and I should have. I'll get it in later, but it's not going to show up for you guys. This, the link I just dropped in there is our personal listing presentation. It's yours. Take it. Make it your own. My gift. Okay. Works real well. We've minimized it. You're going to notice, though, and this is important, it doesn't talk about Jackie and I at the very beginning because they don't care who you are. They care about them. It's important. What's in it for them? Don't talk, well, I'm this and I'm that and I'm everything else. They don't care. All they care about right now is, can you actually do what you said to do? And how long are you going to take? Because I don't want you here. I don't even know you. Sorry. Unfortunately, that's the kind of truth sometimes. That's okay. You'll create relationships through professionalism, through how you handle everything. I have zero concerns about that. Go back to where I was. All right. We're going to go to the checklist now. After I've done the marketing, I ask this question because I'm not comfortable, truthfully, I'm not comfortable going into them saying, so should we get started and list the home? Because at that point, they're like, no, I need to find another defense. I need to find something else. Let's go back to our listing practice, our listing presentation, our checklist, which is our listing presentation. And I'm going to walk you through how this plays out. I need a thumbs up from somebody that you can see this. Hold on, pull it up real quick. Good, Joe? You all see it? Awesome, cool. So I say to them, Susan, Tom, why don't we talk about what happens next? And they'll be like, yeah, okay, that'd be terrific. Great. So the next phase is the pre-listing phase. Now I'm going to send over the paperwork for you. Catch this. I'd like to schedule the photographer when would you like to, we talked about having it on the market 2 weeks from now. I'd like to schedule the photographer the following Wednesday, if that's okay with you, or is there a day that works well? And I'm going to actually try and get the time for the photographer right there. So during the pre-listing process, you're going to be introduced to some of my staff and some of my business partners. We're also going to get the sign installation done. Where would you like to have it? I would suggest the front yard, but I want to make sure that's okay with you. Do you get how they're starting to direct me on what's going to happen? Well, we're not sure we're going to list yet. Oh, I totally understand. Let me carry on with this. I want to explain the importance of a lockbox. I keep a lockbox with me, and here's the importance. Anytime somebody comes in your house, I instantly know that they're in your property, and I start texting them, helping support them to make sure they have all the answers for the questions they may have about your amazing home. That's my mission, is to make sure that these guys are totally covered and that they have the support that they need. This is an important thing to do with a lockbox. It also allows me complete security, and I can turn it off at certain times, like 9 o'clock at night to 9 in the morning. Nobody can access for sure. I know anytime somebody comes in. Scheduling showings. Who should I be contacting, or who should we communicate with on showings? They're going to tell you, and you guys, if you don't figure it out, I'm going to let you in on a secret. As soon as they tell you, they've already agreed to list the home with you. You'll get this? By going through what's happening, they have to affirm some things that they're wanting no matter what, and they're doing it with you. Okay, so once we put the home active on the market, we've got our first showing, and that's going to be me. It's going to be a dry run. It'll be about 8:45 at night. I'll let you know, but I'm going to do a dry run to make sure everything's perfect for you. Okay. I also want to talk about showing your property, and I talk about how real estate agents are always late, except for me. Remember, I was on time at the front door. I don't want you leaving till they arrive, and I go through what they should say. So here's what I would suggest you say when they come in, or when they come here. Say, give me just a minute. I'm going to vacate. I'll clear out through the garage. Please open up the lockbox. You can use that for access. Don't give them the key. Don't open the door. You can open the door, but do not make them use the lockbox to gain access so that they can secure the property and have the clients or your guests leave through some other form. Okay. It is important that the lockbox gets open and they don't let them in. And I don't want them leaving at 1 o'clock for a 1 o'clock showing when they arrive at 2:15, which is normal for a real estate agent. We'll already let them know that you may be present at the house and to allow a moment or two for you to vacate. They're totally cool with this. Okay. What to say in the super, I covered that as well. I talked to them about the fact they're going to get weekly feedback and they're going to get showing feedback. So, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how do you feel about an open house? Yes or no? Do not say we do amazing open houses, because some people hate them. If they say, yeah, I'm all for it, say everything you want to about what we do with our open house system is absolutely second to none. If you put this into place, the sellers will go, oh my flipping gosh, this is crazy. If you put the time and investment in here, there's an entire class on how to build that out for yourself as well. If they're going to say yes to an open house, it's a great opportunity. You will absolutely create some energy. A footnote for me personally, we list a home first thing Friday morning. Goes on the market at 7 a.m. It's completely prepped and ready to go. So we literally just go click at 7 a.m. It's on the market. We don't have any showings till Saturday and Sunday, where we do an open house on Saturday from 11 to 4 and on Sunday from 11 to 4. These are busy, hard, long days, and they are absolutely worth it. And if you're the listing agent on Friday and on Thursday, of course, you're going to be walking the neighborhood, talking to them about the activity that's going to occur this weekend. Hi, my name is George Philbeck. I'm representing Zach and Josie Christie. They have decided to place their home on the market, and I just wanted to let you know we're going to be hosting a mega open house to really showcase this home, and it's going to increase the traffic. Now, we'll be here to police the environment, make sure everything's safe. I wanted you to have my information so that you can reach me personally if there's any challenges, but we will have heightened traffic between 11 and 4 on Saturday and Sunday. And the safety of the neighborhood is my #1 priority. Anybody here think that's soliciting? It's not. It's a public service announcement. You're soliciting. No, I'm not. I'm telling you that it's going to be busier and that we're here and I'm accountable. And I want you to have my information. I'm absolutely not soliciting. You're welcome to come by. And if you wanted to sell your home, we'd gladly talk about that. By the way, do you? I had somebody where I used to put stuff. This is a sidebar for you. I used to put. I didn't want to see anybody face to face. I was shy. This is when I first started. And in my neighborhood where I was going to farm, I had 118 homes. So I'd put an envelope. I'd put a letter in the envelope, sign it, and I wouldn't put anything up front. And I'd slide it in the cushion on the front door. This guy calls me up after the first round, pissed. You're soliciting. I got a big sign on my door that says no soliciting. I can't believe you're out here soliciting. This is not what we do. You can't do this. I'm like, I am terribly, terribly sorry. What is your address? I'm going to come down right now. I want to make sure I put a mental note so that never happens again. But I need to see this face to face. I listed his home 2 weeks later. Okay, I went to him and he was pissed. I'm like, I'm pissed too. I can't believe I didn't see this. That's just unprofessional. I should be fined. Well, let's not go crazy. I mean, but don't do it anymore. I'm not going to. When are you going to sell? Well, actually, I'm going to list the home in a couple of weeks. You want me to talk to you about what we do? Yeah, I do. Okay, great. I'll come back tomorrow. I should have just stayed right then and had the conversation, but I didn't. Guys, that's true. That actually happened. That was like my third listing ever. I'm like, neat. Farming's cool. Farming works. Okay, but he got pissed. I got pissed. If somebody gets mad at you, get mad with them. I can't believe you're calling me to do this. I can't believe I'm calling either. Who the heck do I think I am? I'm a scoundrel. I shouldn't be calling. Although I'm not soliciting, I'm literally just giving a public service, but I'm pissed too. You're right. Sorry I did that. When are you thinking of selling your home? Okay. Now that may be a little more dramatic. Andre, way to go. Airborne, obviously. Andre, yep. 82nd. 101. Got unmuted, man. I need to know.
Marine Corps, Anglico, Air Naval Gunfire Liaison.
Oh, right on. Master Blaster too, man. You got a lot of jumps. That means the boy's good at what he does. That's for sure. Talk about the tip of the spear. That's y'all right there. God bless you. Thanks for your service. All right, folks. So we're back to this. I'm still sharing the screen on here. So I go through all of this. I talk about the types of offers, the offer instructions. Remember, in my package, there's offer instructions already prepared. I have an offer instruction list that I put in the listing agreement. Somebody remind me to show you the list of stuff. It's part of the link, but there is a list of all the documents you need for your buyer package, your seller package. For everybody out there, they are my Florida ones because I'm only licensed in the state of Florida, but they are almost exactly what's needed in most all states with perhaps something a little bit additional. You'll know it because you're an expert in your state, but I wanted to give everybody an idea just so we had an idea of what the pre-list or what the documents look like. So I cover the offer instructions for sure, and I like to have those out with me because it talks about how we say we want an inspection in 7 days, we want the appraisal done in 14 days, and loan commitment in 21 days. And in VA, it's a little bit different. And I can tell the seller, I said, we get pushback all the time, but we almost never don't get it. And I don't want you having surprises. Most agents are like, well, it says 15 days if left blank and loan approvals in 30 days, and the appraiser isn't tied to the outcome. There's nothing in there about an appraisal being done. And the last thing you need is a surprise. Is that right? Yes, that's correct. We want to know the answers to our questions immediately. So if it doesn't work, we have another solution, right? Yes, that's correct. They're saying yes, they're saying yes, they're saying yes. That's what I'm doing. That's the offer instructions. In there, I discuss the different types of offers and offer scrutiny, what we do. We're going to vet the lender, find out what their credit score is, how long they've been working. Do they have the extra funds to bring to go over appraised value? Are they able to do so? We're going to know as much as we need to know to make sure that we've got the strongest possible offer, because there may be 3 offers that are exactly the same, but one of them is guaranteed, absolutely strong, 100%. I need to know the buyer's motivation. Okay. This is what you're going to communicate to the seller at the table while we're going through this. I want to talk to you about offer presentation and weekend offers. If we get an offer on the weekend, I'll gladly let you know, but I'm telling everybody because I want to continue to stir the pot that we're presenting the offers on Mondays because you're busy with Canasta or whatever it is, but I want to get more energy in. So weekend offers, we usually present to you on Monday. After the contract's accepted, now I'll go through this, and I'm telling them the key dates, the inspections, we're going to manage that. The inspections are great. The appraisal, I'll meet the appraisal here because I have a weapon once we finish filling that out. Can we fill that out as soon as we're done? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. We'll go through all the appraisal. You get the idea that if I said, can we fill out the list of the upgrades as soon as we're done? And he goes, yeah, that'd be great. It's my listing. Right? Y'all get that? It's my listing. A lot of these photos, time frame, it's my listing. Sign, where do you want it? Front yard. Great. I'm going to order that and have it delivered on Tuesday, or excuse me, on Wednesday, right before the property goes active on Friday. Would that be okay? Yeah, that's terrific. I have the listing. It's already mine. Okay. Loan commitment. Preparing for the closing, the walkthrough, the final walkthrough, and then closing table. I tell them this, by the way, I do Gene Frederick on the closing table. I say, I am not, I won't be at the closing. That's not what I do. I can't change the outcome. We've already resolved everything. And quite honestly, my title company will close wherever you want. In fact, I can have them close it at your property the day before for your signing, and then I can just monitor everything, make sure your funds get transferred through on the day of closing. Extra service. Funny thing is, though, I say I'm not showing up, but then I always show up. And that's Gene Frederick. I love this. He tells them all the time, I don't go to closings. That's not what I do. I'm not a closing person. I'm not a closing. Now, the closing people is celebration title. So I'm going to talk to the closer. I know who it is. And her job is to brag on me. And also I'm gonna let her know, hey, listen, I'm gonna stop by at the closing probably around 11:15 while they're still going through it. When I'm done, hit him up with, he never shows up for closings. I'm surprised. It's amazing he showed up for this one, because they don't think I'm showing up for closings. I'm going to show up and say, listen, I got to run, but I had to come by. By the way, here's a closing gift. I love you guys. You're awesome. I just had to stop by and say congratulations, person to person. I'm super busy. I'm going to be late for an appointment, but you were worth it. And the closer's going, he never shows up for closings. That's incredible. And they're feeling loved. Here's a footnote. I have time for a footnote. Here's a footnote. Tell your clients a week before their closing, say, listen, I'm really sad. I have a letter that goes out automatically. I'm really sad. It goes out at 11 o'clock at night, or 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, usually before I go to sleep that day. We've had such a great time, and it's been so much fun getting to know you. And I know what's going to happen, and I hate it, is that next week, after we close this home, I just feel like I know we're not going to talk as much as we did, and I'm really sad about that. And I'm going to do everything in my power to stay in touch and not let the world get in the way. I just really admire you guys. I love you, and it's been a pleasure serving you. And I want to continue to be in your life and still talk to you. I've really enjoyed it. That gives me two things. I've already identified that I'm not going to be talking to them every day, because it does feel like you're ghosted when you don't talk to them at all. Talk about how much I care for them. I want to keep it going. And I ask them to participate with me to keep in touch with each other. Now I've got the ability to communicate back with them, and they don't feel ghosted. You all think about this. This is what happens all the time. Deep and Andre are husband and wife. Sorry, guys, just throwing your names are right up on top. Deep and Andre are husband and wife, and we're at close to it's like a week before closing. We're talking all the time. And I'm talking to Andre, and I'm talking to Deep. I'm going back and forth. We're almost there. It's the day before. It's a walkthrough. I've done that. I've done the walkthrough. The house is spotless. They're going to do the walkthrough later. Everything's perfect. We're at the closing. That's great. I'll show up for closing. I show up for closings. They don't hear from me again for 2 weeks. You know what happens? They're both thinking I'm a transactional based person, and it's not relationship. There's nothing you can do to not have that happen unless you call it out and say, I want to not be that person, and I'm afraid that we're not going to talk as much. We both know that, but you have to let them know. It will make a big difference in your referral business if you put that one little step into place. I'm digging you all sticking around. We got 119 people hanging out here. So back to this. Couple questions now that we're ready to go. By the way, I can prepare the listing paperwork for you right now. It's in there, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Septic and sewer, when was the last clean out? Alarm system, you own it, water softener, garbage, any notes? We've covered these. These are in here because I personally put them in for me. You don't have to put them there if you don't, or use them if you don't want to. They're not in the right place. They're just simple notes that are additions. This is the listing presentation in a checklist form, and it's really a lead sheet that goes through the entire thing. Here are the prepared documents. These are all the prepared documents that I need for a listing presentation. They're in my listing presentation or my listing folder. I use Form Simplicity, and it doesn't matter what you use, but you should have in each one of your particular packages, I would encourage you to have a filled in already package, buyer and listing package. So if you click on this one, it's already pre-filled. A lot of stuff is already done for it. So I can pull it up real quickly and enter in some information. I'm all set and ready to go with it. That's in there as well. And that is a full bit of paperwork. That's every paperwork you need, including the ones with asterisks. Those are very specific to our brokerage. Although most people's brokerage will have something that's very similar to that as well. This in a nutshell is the 15-minute listing presentation. And it's longer than that, but it's not I want to go through this whole thing and let me talk about this. Most people aren't interested in that. And always ask if you have a great, like we have a great listing presentation. I think it's perfect. It goes through everything. But I asked them, I said, are you interested in looking at this, or do you have a high level of confidence that we're going to market the heck out of your home and we're absolutely going to have multiple offers should we price it at the right price point? Nah, we'll look at that later. Terrific. We can absolutely go through the marketing later, and I'll cover it in later parts of our conversation. I don't want to sit there for that much time. I'd rather talk about the finances. We can talk about the numbers, and as long as the numbers work, I can go right to the soft close with the checklist. Would you like to hear what happens next? Numbers, we agree. Would you like to hear what happens next? Yes. And then I get them into that checklist, and there's so many built-in yeses in there that they're going to start going and nodding their head. I forgot what it's called, but you start nodding your head, they start nodding your head, and you're going for the yeses because there's things you're going to affirm. Where should we put the sign? Can I order the photography for the date we're going to list the property? There's one other thing I want to talk about, and this is going to happen. Well, we're not really thinking of listing the home until June. Oh, that makes perfect sense to me. You know what? I got a thought. We know that the price should be somewhere between 375 and 400. What if we did this? What if you authorized me to kind of authorized me means fill out the listing contract. What if you authorized me to kind of stir the market? And it's probably not going to happen. But if somebody comes that is a cash buyer that absolutely positively has to buy, they can't find anything, and it's not going to be on the MLS, it's going to be something I'll just hold on to it, but it gives me the ability to market and you authorize me to kind of let some people know. But if I have a cash buyer who's willing to pay 500, no problems, contingencies, nothing, as is, I'd love to be able to call you and say, I'd like to show them the home. Chances are it's not going to happen, but either way, I get to stir the pot a little bit and get people excited about what's coming. Does that make sense to you? So if you want to do that, that way you'd authorize me to do it. We'll put a ridiculous number, 500,000. Make sure it's ridiculous. 425 is not ridiculous. 425 is them saying, I think I can get more. Let's go with 425. Make it ridiculous. 25, 30% more. $500,000 cash, no contingencies. I want to call you and say, I want to be able to show the property. And they're going to come in and they're not going to ask for any repairs. Just to say, I'm going to buy the home. We're going to get the best terms. You can even have post occupancies because they're so desperate. But you have to authorize. Yeah, that sounds good. Great. I'll send over the authorization form for you. It's got everything in there. And of course, prior to placing it on the MLS, I'll write in there that we want to revisit the price point and probably bring it back to our normal price point. But I'm not going to be authorized to communicate that with anybody until we're listing what we take. I'm only going to try and stir the market and get some more excitement. So in June, we're ready to go. They say, sure. I send them over the listing agreement. Says it doesn't go on the market till June. In our market, we have an owner's authorization to temporarily exclude the listing from the MLS. That's just what my market has. Each market's different. Check with your logo board. But I'm going to put in there that they're authorizing me to take this listing, but I'm not going to have it active until June 1st, our date. Nobody else can list with them. I have a listing agreement. Y'all get that? I just thought of something. What if we, you know what I mean? It's a revelation. Oh my God, I can do it. All you got to do is authorize me to start some marketing. But remember, I can't tell anybody the real price. I can only tell them 500,000, no negotiation, no contract, no, they can do the inspection, but they can't ask for anything. They got to take it. It's a one-time shot. We know it's really high. So if we get one, great. But I can also stir the market, let everybody know that there's a great home coming on the market and talk about some of the features like this magnificent pool you have and everything else. Can't show them anything, won't show the property. Nobody will know which one home it is, but I'll get some people interested. So we have more buyers clamoring for your property when we place it active in June, which means we get a higher offer than even now. This is a very, very important part of our conversations. All right. Open it up for questions. If anybody has them, I am all yours. And I'm checking an email real quick, so please excuse me if I'm not.
So George, I've got a quick question. As you are sending this stuff, are you dropping it off in person, the things that you talked about, or are you mailing it? What's your preference?
I do both. I can leave it at the front door. I can drop it off in person. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can do anything you choose to do with it. But I want to make sure they get it. That's for sure. Does that help? Oh, you mail it too.
Yes.
By the way, if it's somewhere a little bit further away, pay an Uber driver. Hey, here's a $10 tip plus your ride. Put this on their front door today for me. Send me a picture. I'm gonna give you an extra $5 when you do. $15 for me, I'm done. I don't care. 20 bucks. I just want it there. If I can't get there, is what's the time worth? Or I drop it off. A lot of times our listings are going to be relatively local to our personal marketing, and that's awesome when they are. Okay. Any other questions? In-person helps ensure the. Oh, absolutely true. Thank you very much. Whoever put that, that's a great question. Email it through CRM Grow and deliver it. That works terrific. Natasha, yeah, 100%. Because now you know if they open it too, which is really, that's okay. Thank you, Natasha. I'm stealing that. CRM Grow. CRM Grow is a software that Natasha and I use, and quite a few of us do, and it gives us visibility. So I can see if they actually went through it, opened up the PDF I attached to it. That's there. Now we're Done. That's all I needed. I got my tip. Way to go, Natasha. Anybody else have a question? If so, let's see who we got. Mateo the Extraordinary. What's up, brother?
Hello, good morning, George. Thank you for the class. I really appreciate it. My question is, you go really fast with really important topics, really important verbiage, really important words. Is there a way that we can arrange a more like lengthy class where we can really soak in this topic that is essentially the number first job that we have?
Yes, I do.
Because
I speak really quick.
You did
Mateo,
amazing.
well, so listen, two things. First off, these are all recorded. You can find them in Workplace. You can also find them in our library, the GPS Global Partners. This is saved to YouTube on our YouTube channel. If you go there, please, Joe, drop a link in for the YouTube. And you can go.
I'm subscribed.
Mateo, let me finish, okay? So there's a lot of different places you can get this and revisit it. Thank you very much. The YouTube channel is in there. I appreciate it. That would be the best selection. We can dive into this. This is all part of the listing class. But because I have a time frame issue, I had to make sure you had everything. So it's there. Maybe listen to it again and just kind of dig into it. And everything is in the documents that's attached as for this document, the 15-minute listing. Everything's in there for you as well. Maria, what you got, my friend?
I'm with Mateo. Fire hose of amazing information. Thank you so much. I will go back and listen. Where in there, you might have mentioned it, but I don't remember. When do you show comps?
Okay, great question. So after I'm walking through the house and I tour the property, I'm sorry, I think I said that, but pretty quickly. I said, so and I sit down after I've done the tour of the property. I said, I can give you a full-on presentation. I'm glad to do so if you want to. And I'm fully prepared. It's on my computer. But if you're comfortable and you have to close this out, if you're comfortable that we market homes extraordinarily well, we can put that behind us and move on to the financials. What would you prefer? It's their choice. A high D says, I'm not interested in the marketing. I know everything's going to sell. Let's talk about the numbers. Great. Let's talk about the numbers. Remember this part? So they didn't tell me earlier what their number was. So where are you thinking you want to have the home priced at? Well, isn't that your job? It is. I have right here. I can't change what I chose. I know the homes, the 3 homes an appraiser is going to use. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm interested in what you think. So in doing so, what I've done, Maria, is that's where I do the presentation if I need to, and I'll go quickly through it because truth is I don't really care. Bottom line is it's in the pre-listing package as well, or it should be. So if it's not, make your pre-listing package like this. And then I will talk about them with the numbers at that point. And I'll pull it up. I said, so I talk about what an appraiser, this is such an important thing. I'm so glad you brought it up. I'm grateful, Maria. I talk about what an appraiser looks for. Okay. Quick summary, listen to this again if you have to. An appraiser looks for a like home in a similar environment, and proximity and age of sale is most important. That means if I've got a big community that has subdivisions in it, if there's 3 homes in the subdivision, there's a good chance an appraiser will try and use those before hopping out of the subdivision to another subdivision, or maybe across the street to homes that are 10 years younger. They're going to look for like on like. What you're looking for is the one absolute, no questions asked, they can't get past this home. This is 100% the home. It's the one 3 doors down that's the exact same floor plan that sold 2 months ago. It's the most recent sale. An appraiser will use it, and it was $375. That's guaranteed. Now they have a pool and we don't have a pool. It's still $375 because 2 years or 3 months is it's going to be $15,000 in increase in value. So you're going to have to know your numbers, and that's when you do it. That's when I present the numbers.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey, George, I got a question.
Shoot.
Hey, what happens when you get somebody to ask about your marketing, and what differentiates us from other realtors, brokerages?
I'm sorry, repeat that. I just had an issue.
Sure.
One more time.
Sure. So what differentiates EXP marketing from other brokerages? And what can we say like during the listing presentation as far as our marketing, if they ask?
Okay. I think EXP, well, I use listings to leads. So listings to leads brings a lot more power to it, but everybody's going to use CRM or the IDX feeds, and we have syndication throughout. If you want to use direct mail postcards, it's in the listing presentation that I have for you all in here as well. I also use social media marketing. You can boost one of your listings or take a listing and boost it up to get 10,000 people viewing it, and then take a picture of that, put it in your listing presentation. That's what we did. There isn't that much that's going to differentiate at this point. Listings to leads gives you a lot more. And that is in itself an entire class on listing marketing. So Joe, shoot me a text on that one or an email. Listing, how to market a listing might be a class we need to have to piggyback on this. Right now though, use what I have in there in my pre-listing package and my listing presentation, and just kind of take out the stuff you don't want to use. The biggest thing is syndication and how you handle communication and marketing or in negotiating, okay? That's going to be critical for you. They know it's going to sell right away. Most people do in this market. Anybody else? All right, I have one more thing to share with you. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing this, but I want to make sure I do this. This is something that Karen Leday brought to our attention, and I want to make sure y'all have it. There's a gentleman, this is Karen's information. There's a gentleman that puts together these local videos that are part of your list or part of your presentation. And honestly, they're really, really, really cool. So I want to show you what they are. Y'all can see this. This is a personal branded video. I'll just click on it.
Welcome to Greater Orlando, Florida, one of the fastest and a playground year-round, with beautiful parks for kids and practically other executive homes and new developments.
That was just one of the videos. There's another one here, bio video that's awesome as well. I'm going to see if I can do this. And there's one that goes through the entire relocate or the entire every place, like Central Florida, multiple different. Oh, it worked. Awesome. In this link, in the chat links, personal branded, you'll see that there's all of these videos. I would encourage you to watch them if you're interested in this. It is a couple $100. I am absolutely not saying you should buy it because I'm cheap. I don't like spending money. However, I was blown away by the Central Florida videos that talk about it, and they're personalized and they're branded, and it's worth looking at. Karen Leday found this gentleman, Jerry, excuse me, and Jerry's information. Well, reach out to Karen because she's the one that procured this. She can tell you more about it. I would encourage you guys to look through it. I would do that and spend the time going through it, but I'm going to have to pass since I have an appointment right now with one of my business partners, and I am already late, which is not a no-go for me. Robert, can I give it to you and let you kind of run with it as I depart?
You can send it to me, George, and tell me where I go buy these from, because you know what I'm going to do next.
Okay, they're awesome, man. Reach out to Karen Leday. Joe, do me a favor, get Karen Leday's information in there. I'm blown away by this. If you guys, I'm serious, please go through and take a look at some of these. The local community map of Central Florida. I'm just going to show you this one because it's just so cool. Let's see, Orange County. Oh, I got to pick a city, Winter Park. Okay, so I'd have to sign in to see this with Karen under Karen's thing, but it is incredibly powerful. Please reach out to Karen. She can help you with that. She's the one that introduced us. I love it. Robert, that's where you get it from. Guys, I hate to do it. I got to hop off. I will see you guys shortly. And Dale, 10:30. Don't be late. I will try not to as well. God bless you. Great to see you guys again. I missed you all. Nice to be back.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome. Have an amazing day. Thanks for sticking with us, guys.